Australia, the land of emus, didgeridoos, kangaroos, and dollary-doos. We're going to explore a tale of mankind's dominion over nature and what happens when nature fights back. Throw another shrimp on the Barbie, Chloe. Yeah! Who the hell are you?
Jake, I'm your friend Jordan.
I'm scared.
What?
This guy looks kind of scary.
Listen, I didn't come here to be insulted. I wasn't even supposed to be here. I was on my way to the new bagel shop called Lou Bagel. I was on my way to get a combo number 5, and I get assaulted by Chloe? Verbally? You only get to make one first impression.
Jordan, since you're here, you can join us as we go down under and jump right into the Great Emu War.
You know, I don't think it feels genuine.
Hey, Jordan.
Jake?
Do you want to go on this journey with us? Hand in hand? In hand?
Is Chloe going to be mean to me again?
Probably. I make no promises.
All right, I'm in.
All right. That perfectly describes the situation Australia found itself in following World War I, when soldiers were returning home from the battlefield and discovering that life had continued on in their absence. In an attempt to help the soldiers integrate back into society, the Australian government made a deal to give them land in which to farm wheat in the wide open expanse of Western Australia. Sounds good, right?
So far, sounds fantastic. I mean, do you know what happened in World War I?
Yeah?
It was pretty crazy.
I just know there's a lot of trench foot going on, right?
Yeah.
So far, you're not wrong.
Stinky feet.
Oh, is that what you think trench foot was?
Oh boy.
Yeah, stinky rotten feet.
Well, you got the rotten part correct. How many times does your flesh come off whenever you've taken your shoe or boot off?
None.
Well, you're doing pretty good then. Well, continue on. Let's see. Again, we're taking this journey hand in hand.
Except farming the land of Western Australia was like farming the barren wastes of Tatooine and hoping for a crop of healthy truffula trees. And then the hard times hit.
What?
They got back from World War I and then the hard times hit?
Yeah.
Buddy, it was a war that the whole world was involved in. How much harder can you get?
Look, I've heard about World War I. It sounds pretty great.
Hold on. It was a great war, but I wouldn't call it a great war.
I mean, everyone else did.
It can't be bad. It's got great in the title, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
The arbitrarily valued cryptocurrency of the time, known as the stock market, took a nosedive and crashed in 1929.
Why did you do air quotes when you said stock market?
Look, guys, I just want to take stabs at the stock market because I hate it so much.
It's all made up. Just like our concept of money.
As the value of wheat dropped, the Australian farmers were encouraged to increase their wheat production. But short of giving their dwindling fields pep talks, they were pretty much already doing all they could do.
What did you say this was during?
The Great Depression.
Was it a Great Depression, though?
It was almost as great as the war itself.
Right, well, again, it's got great in the title. It can't be bad.
And then things got worse. Are you sensing a pattern?
All right, we had a war. That was great. And then we had a depression. Also great.
So great.
So you're telling me things got worse?
During their seasonal migration, flocks of roughly 20,000 emus entered what was now cleared and irrigated lands, growing entire fields of sweet, succulent wheat buffets.
Wait, hold on. Did you say emu?
Yeah.
Emu.
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 Okay.
You know when you're on a road trip and you come across, I don't know, a Buc-ee's or an Eddie World of some kind?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Great. Like the depression.
I just imagined 20,000 emus on a road trip and it going something like this.
Can we pull over? I have to pee. Not now, we're making great time. But I have to go real bad. If we pull over now, we're gonna have to pass all those emus again that we already passed. My cloaca is going to explode. Just pull off at the next stop, man. I don't wanna have to clean that up. It's the Australian outback. There is no next stop. Wait, what's that? Is that... could it be? It's meat!
So come to find out, emus loved wheat. Being half bird, half dinosaur, and half war boy.
It's 3 halves.
Yeah, they're big birds, Jordan. The emus would break through the rickety fences with ease, munch on most of the wheat crop, and leave. Emphasis on most. Now you're probably thinking, hey, that leaves some of the wheat crop for the farmers, right?
Wrong.
Because after the emus would leave, these bloodthirsty Australian scavengers known as rabbits would come through the broken fences and finish off the crops, down to the bare dirt. I do want to point out, the rabbits weren't even supposed to be there that day.
Wait.
No, really. Rabbits came over aboard the first European ships to discover Australia despite...
The indigenous people who lived there.
Correct. Anyway, the rabbits came over with them, escaped, and then did what rabbits do. Just multiply and eat and other stuff. After a Great War and a Great Depression, the soldiers turned farmers decided that emus and the unrelenting brutality of the rabbits were the last straw. The soldiers requested help from George Pearce, the Australian Minister of Defense. Notice that they skipped like the Ministry of Agriculture and like the Ministry of Magic and stuff. Went straight to defense. Because if anyone knows anything about farming, it's surely the Minister of Defense. And if anyone knows anything about defensing, it was the emus. Hey, come on! Alright. The farmers sought the help of George Pearce, not for farming advice, but for machine guns.
I feel like this is escalating very quickly.
I would do a little bit of a different approach.
Ooh, what would you do? And if you say interpretive dance?
Never mind.
George Pearce agreed to the use of 2 machine guns, but under the conditions that they only be used by active military personnel. The farmers pay for the ammunition, and a camera crew comes along to capture all the morale-boosting propaganda in all its glory.
I feel like this is a weird thing to broadcast on television.
Would you watch it?
Yeah.
Pearce figured the emus would make great target practice for the soldiers. Heading the operation was Major G.P.W. Meredith and his team of 2 soldiers, Sergeant S. McMurray and Gunner J. O'Halloran, armed with 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Speaking of ammunition, why do we shorten that to ammo?
Should it be Amu?
Amu.
Amu?
Amu.
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 Okay.
On November 2nd, 1932, this small army was 3 men.
That's not even an army. That's a bad neighborhood watch. That's 3 guys that have nothing better to do.
This small army was deployed with orders to assist the farmers and collect 100 emu skins so their feathers could be used to make hats.
Productive.
Did a 5-year-old write this? We got to do something about these emus. Let's gun them down with machine guns. What are we going to do with them after? We're going to make hats out of them.
The first battle consisted of the soldiers spotting a mob of around 50 emus, but they were just out of range of the guns. Local farmers tried to herd the birds towards the soldiers, which caused the birds to immediately scatter. Later that day, the soldiers were able to find a smaller mob of the birds and were able to take out, quote, perhaps a dozen birds.
They only shot 12 of them?
On November 4th, a large herd of more than 1,000 emus were spotted and the soldiers set up an ambush. This time, the soldiers waited for the birds to get in range before they opened fire. After successfully gunning down another dozen or so birds, the gun jammed.
To what? What, was it Prince's Raspberry Beret? I jam out to that all the time.
The rest of the flock scattered, which is what they're best at. No more birds were seen that day.
So, wait, it's the Great Emu War,
Yeah.
and there's so many of them they're trying to get rid of them because they're ruining the farmland.
Yes.
But then they scatter. I think they did find more emu, but they were tired of chasing them and they just kind of gave up for the day. And they said,
Right. We'll tell everybody that we didn't see them for the rest of the day. Right? No. I've got all this footage. Look, they're right there. I'm filming them right now.
Over the coming days, the soldiers encountered small mobs of emus and began to realize
Each pack seems to have its own leader now. A big black plumed bird, which stands fully 6 feet high and keeps watch while his mates carry out their work of destruction and warns them of our approach.
wait, hold on, is there an emu hierarchy?
there wasn't, now there is.
I feel like what you just described is the final boss in the video game of the Great Emu War.
As the battles wore on with little success, Major Meredith had the great idea to mount the gun onto the truck and drive towards the emus while shooting at them.
Good idea.
Is it?
It's a great idea.
What he didn't take into account was that the emus could run faster than the truck. And the ride was so rough, they were unable to get any shots fired off at all. After having very little gain on the situation, the soldiers withdrew their forces on November 8th. Despite an estimated 200 to 500 emus being killed, the media had reported that after all that, quote, only a few emus had been killed.
When you say withdrew the forces, they just quit.
However, in Major Meredith's official report, he did note that his men had suffered 0 casualties.
And then later that afternoon, one of them gets hit by a car.
Before we go further, why the hell were these birds such tanks? Let's take a look at the anatomy of the emu. Okay, as you can see, this is a large bird, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic plumage.
These birds are so big, they have an imaginary friend named Snuffleupagus.
They are classified as... I can't read Latin. Jordan, you read this.
Dromechius noah hollandae.
No! Jordan, don't do that!
Do what? All I said was Dromechius noah hollandae.
No, there's another one!
Well, I don't know. All I'm saying is Dromechius noah hollandae.
Gah! Never mind, Jordan, stop reading that! Despite being such large birds, their vital organs take up very little of their overall stature. Most of the back half of the bird is just leg and feathers. And with this thick layer of feathers covering already tough skin, they were able to take a number of bullets and just keep running. The emu attacks on the wheat crops continued, and once again the farmers asked for help. On November 12th, George Pierce, with the support of the Premier of Western Australia, told Major Meredith and his 2 soldiers to get back out there and get me some damn emu skin hats. For the next 3 weeks, the operation continued to see little success, as the emus held strong.
I
My brothers!
fight and you may die.
I see in your eyes the same fear that would take the heart of me.
Run and you'll live. At least a while.
A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our wheat and break our bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance? Just one chance to come back here and tell our enemies.
An hour of rabbits and shattered fences when the age of men comes crashing down? But it is not this day.
That they may take our lives.
This day we fight.
But they'll never take our sweet, succulent wheat.
By all that you hold dear on this good earth, I bid you stand, men of the outback!
All together. Hold. Hold. Now!
By the end, only an estimated 986 out of 20,000 emus had been killed. Now listen, guys. When you have roughly 20,000 emus, and you kill 986 of them, you still have roughly 20,000 emus. Coincidentally, 9,860 rounds of ammunition had been fired. That's 10 bullets for every fallen emu. They did the math!
They did the emu math.
The emu math?
It was a big bird graph. The 986 fallen emu comrades were barely a dent in the overall population. When the Australian Parliament was asked if medals would be given out for this war, it was suggested that the emus receive the medals, since they had won every round. In the end, the emu problem subsided when the Australian government allowed farmers to collect bounties on the emus. But the biggest contributing factor to the success in the fight against the emus was simply better fencing.
So a fence was their best defense.
Hey, be sure to like this video, tickle that subscribe button, and hit the bell icon. Also, check out Jordan Ghastly's channel and our merchandise links in the description. While you're down there, hit the link to join our Patreon for exclusive bonus content.
Well, Jake, I hope you're happy. My bagels are all cold now.